What's up, P-Timers? Today we're going to talk about cars and kind of a little bit about my car history and cars that I've owned and kind of me growing up with cars. And we're not talking Hot Wheels today, we're talking like real cars. I haven't owned anything like extremely fast, but I've owned some fun cars. My very first car growing up as a kid was a red 1986 Pontiac Fiero 2M4. And I know, a lot of you real car people probably know what Fieros are and probably know how unreliable they are. They're actually really, really fun cars to drive. They're not fast. I had a 2M4, the 4-cylinder version. Later on, I did buy a V6 variation as well. Again, not extremely fast, but very fun to drive. You sit very low in them. You sit very like kind of reclined back. And it was my first car, so I put a sound system in it. Wasn't making much money back then, so any little things that I could put to personalize my car, I did put into that car. Obviously, being a Fiero, I did have a lot of mechanical issues with it, so I dumped a lot of money into it to fix it up and get it going. But you know what? I love that car. The Pontiac Fieros are so fun to drive. My second kind of car, which is the actual car that I learned how to drive on, is a 1994 Chevrolet Cavalier two-door coupe. And it was actually my mom's car that we bought for her, and my mom drove that car for a while, and then I learned how to drive that car. And man, I really, really loved that car. It was actually quite torquey, had a lot of good low-end power. No, it was just like a really fun manual transmission car to drive. This was back in 2001, 2002, and that's when the Fast and the Furious movie came out. And so street racing was like a huge thing, and I remember going to meets where there were street races and stuff like that. And yeah, I showed up with my Chevy Cavalier. I admit I did race it a few times against some other cars, but I was more enjoying just watching of the street racing, seeing all the other cool cars that were involved with it. My 1994 Chevy Cavalier, that was just a fun car, and I owned that car quite a while. After the Chevy Cavalier, I temporarily bought a Toyota Celica. I believe it was a 1988 Toyota Celica GT. And I had that car for like 2.5 months. It was the biggest piece of crap ever. I literally bought it at the time because I had a girlfriend that lived like an hour drive from me, and I really wanted to just go visit her. So I was really impulsive and bought this car. It was raining during that time that I bought it. It was like winterish type season, and I would not be able to see out the window because the defrogger wasn't working on it. So I couldn't defrost my windows. It was biggest piece of crap ever. I regret buying that car. I luckily was able to sell it really quickly. I sold it in like 2.5 months. So yeah, that car was gone. After that, I bought a Kawasaki Ninja ZX6R, a yellow one, and I got that in 2004. I had it for about 3 years, from 2004 to 2007, and I sold it because I was actually trying to buy another motorbike. I found a Suzuki GSXR 750 that was black and yellow. I love yellow. Yellow is my favorite color, in case you didn't know. I really wanted to buy that bike. It was selling for $7 grand, and I offered him $6,000 for it. And he said, no, I'm gonna take $6,500. That's how much I owe, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, I'm just basing on the market pricing, the kilometers and stuff like that. I would say $6 grand is the most I would pay for it. He said no. That was the only bike I wanted. I actually already test drove that bike and everything before I even sold my bike. It was awesome, but the guy didn't want to sell it for $6 grand, what I offered him. Funny enough, a month later, after I had decided not to buy another bike, and I'll tell you why in a second, I bought another car, he messaged me and says, look, I'm selling it now for $6 grand. You can take it for $6 grand. And I said, sorry man, I already bought something else. And then literally a month after that, he had it listed for $5,500, and I don't know what he ended up selling it for, but he should have taken my $6 grand offer before, and I would have had that bike. But you know what, I'm actually kind of glad, because having that sport bike for the 3 years that I did have it, good to have it. It was good to experience, but it's something that I'm done with now. Having a motorbike, a sport bike, is very dangerous, and I did stupid stuff with it. I got it up to 290 kilometers an hour at one point, which is just totally stupid and dumb. I should not have been doing that. I'm a speed demon. I like speed. I like going fast. I still do, but I know I'm much more mature now. I don't do stupid things like that. So I'm kind of glad that I got rid of the bike, and I'm actually quite glad that I didn't get that other bike, because who knows, I might not be here right now. The car that I bought after that, instead of buying another motorbike, was a Nissan Pathfinder, because there was tons of snowstorms happening, and I played hockey and I snowboarded, and so I really wanted something with space, and I really wanted something four-wheel drive. And that was a great vehicle. I absolutely loved the Nissan Pathfinder. It got me around everywhere. It was good, it was reliable. It was a great vehicle. I'm so happy that I bought that. I had fun with it. Kind of an odd car. I think that was my first automatic vehicle that I ever bought after having multiple manual cars. I ended up selling that one, and then that's when I bought my first Mazda. I bought a 2007 Mazda 3 GT. GT is like the top model for it, with a 5-speed manual transmission in white. I love that car, absolutely awesome. Great vehicle. I had that one for probably 2 or 3 years. I actually ended up buying another one, an identical one to that for my wife, an automatic one. So we had a manual and an automatic Mazda 3 GT in white, both in white, so both matching cars. I had those in my garage. So then we ended up selling the manual transmission one, and we bought a brand new 2014 Mazda CX-5, and that was the first brand new vehicle that I've ever bought, and I love that vehicle. It's such a great car. We had planned on keeping that car for like 10 years, like a long time. We ended up selling the automatic Mazda 3 2007, and then I ended up upgrading that to a 2010 Mazda 3, so another Mazda. So we had the CX-5 and the 2010 Mazda 3, the hatchback variation, which was really good, really fun car. It was automatic just because my wife doesn't like driving manual, so she ended up driving that one as well. We kind of switched back and forth between the CX-5 and the Mazda 3 with the two automatics. I ended up selling then the Mazda 3 after that, and buying my Ford Fusion. I bought a 2015 Ford Fusion, and I still own that vehicle today. I love it. Sometimes I consider selling it and getting something else, but I always look at Ford Fusion for what it offers. All-wheel drive, 2-liter turbo engine. It's got the paddle shifters. It's fully loaded with options, and it's just awesome. It's a great car for the price. Normally I wouldn't really be into like buying American cars because they usually depreciate quite a bit, but you know what? The value for money that that car offers and still offers today, I love it. So I'm not selling that one. The car that after that we got was the one that I'm driving right now, and this is a 2017 Mazda CX-9. So it's the bigger variation of a CX-5. To be honest, I didn't really want to buy this vehicle when we initially got it because I really love our CX-5. I still love our CX-5, but we needed space. This was right before my second daughter Zoe was born, and just with the amount of stuff that you have when you have kids, we've got 2 car seats in the back, we got strollers in the trunk, double car seats, all the bags and stuff that we bring. It was just gonna make our lives easier to get a bigger vehicle. It works really well for our family. But yeah, I kind of miss the CX-5. The CX-5 was just a more fun vehicle to drive because it was a little bit smaller and sporty, whereas this it's a much bigger, heavy vehicle, but definitely a nice interior, very, very comfortable. So yeah, it's a good car. I like the CX-9. I still prefer driving my Fusion over the CX-9 because my Fusion is just a little bit faster, a little bit more sporty. Because I drive the kids and drop them off a lot, I end up driving the CX-9 more, and my wife ends up driving my Ford Fusion. But hey, it's all good. I mean, they're both great cars. My dad had a Corvette Z06. I've driven a Ferrari. I've driven, the most recent fast car that I drove was a McLaren 570 GT. So I have driven fast cars. I have experience being in fast cars. If you look at my channel, I did buy a Mercedes. I forgot to mention the Mercedes. That's actually the fastest car that I drove. My Mercedes 2007 Mercedes E550 4MATIC V8, almost 400 horsepower. I bought that car about a year ago. I had it for about 3 months. I bought it because it was a good deal, and I thought that I was gonna sell my Fusion and use that Mercedes, but then I realized that the Mercedes is not reliable. It doesn't have any of the tech features. It's not as sporty. It's faster, but it's not as sporty handling wise as my Fusion. So I decided, you know what, I'm gonna sell that Mercedes. I ended up selling it for a profit after having it for 3 months. So it actually worked out well. I could possibly get a third car, which will be a fun car. And I don't know what that is. It's hard to say. I don't really have a budget in mind for what I want to get. Definitely want to get a project car or a fast car or something for the channel, because I know you guys will like that. It'll be interesting it'll be more content for me to film. It'll be something for you guys to watch. So I think it'll be really fun to do that. So possibly in the future, you guys might see something cool on the channel. But that's gonna wrap it up, guys. Thank you guys for watching this video. I'll catch you guys on the next vlog. Peace.